Welcome back, fellow adventurers, to a brand new video. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed his or her Labor Day weekend. I know I certainly did. It was nice just hanging out, chilling with the family. However, now that the Labor Day weekend is over, it's time to get back to school. School is back in session. Now, I know for a lot of people, school isn't relevant anymore. Sadly, for some of us, we got to go back to college or high school or whatever, school you're in. And since not a lot of people are going back to school, I thought it would be fun to bring an educational series to this channel. I'm going to be doing a Swords and Wizardry 101 class on this channel. I'm going to be making videos talking about Swords and Wizardry, diving deep into the Swords and Wizardry Complete, teaching you every aspect of the game system. If you are unfamiliar with Swords and Wizardry, it is a beautiful game system written by Matt Finch. It's an old school retro clone, so it does have very basic, slim rules. From there, you build on and create your. But more on that later. The amazing part about Swords and Wizardry is it is absolutely free. The PDF is a free download on the Frog God Games website. All you have to do is click the link in the top of the description to get your free PDF. Of course, it's pay as you want, so if you wanted to tip, that is very much appreciated as well. And the hardcover book is $35, which gets you the complete game system, how to make characters, character classes, spells, magic items, monsters, anything you need to play Swords and Wizardry in this book. Also, if you would like me to make more in-depth videos on specific subject matter within Swords and Wizardry, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I would be more than happy to make more in-depth videos on whatever you want me to talk about. My main role with the Frog God Games YouTube channel is to educate and create amazing videos for everyone to watch, so I'm always open to topics of discussion or, constructive criticism. Can't even say the word construction critic. It's not really good when you have a professor who can't speak. Constructive criticism. Okay, that's it. Let's dive into the first section of Swords and Wizardry 101. Now we are over to the Swords and Wizardry PDF. Okay, so I want to start with the introduction abbreviation. Just some quick little stuff to get you familiar with RPG game systems in general. And then we're going to move on to 4 players today. Oh, 4 players today. We're going to try to get through most of creating a character, but in the essence of not rushing through everything, I would like to take my time on some things. So, this is the table of contents, and then you can go to the list of tables if you want more specific breakdowns of what you are trying to find within the Swords and Wizardry Complete book. Now, going over the foreword by Tim Kask, who, needs no introduction. Most people know who he is. Yeah. He's the editor of Dragon Magazine. He's a very, very prominent author, editor from TSR, back when Dungeons & Dragons was just first getting its go around. And basically the foreword is a summarization of how rules aren't supposed to be the overwhelming aspect of RPGs. You're supposed to interpret them and then use them in your own ways. And the important part of RPGing is the story. So that's pretty much what the foreword's about. So keep that in mind when we are going through this handbook, because rules are meant to be guidelines. They're supposed to lead the path to your adventure, and then your pathway is fleshed out, and the world around it is fleshed out with what you do at the table. The introduction is by Matt Finch, the designer of Swords and Wizardry, and he kind of repeats the same sort of ideals and gives a little bit of background of Swords and Wizardry, that it is based off of the original D&D or original game by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. So pretty cool there. You can, obviously pick up your PDF and read that more in depth for free on the Frog God Games website. Link is in the top of the description. So, getting started, basically the game is split up into 2 opposing factions. No, just kidding. It is split up into 2 separate groups, however. The referee is the person who runs the game, designs the adventures, and makes the dice and decisions for monsters. You say what the characters see, you judge decisions or actions, anything like that. That's what the referee does, the game master, if you will. Moving on from there, then the other faction is the players. So, you might pick a powerful wizard, a hard-bitten warrior, or any other sort of fantasy avatar representing you in the game world. So that's just a quick rundown. I know a lot of people know a lot of this information, so if you want to skip ahead if you already know any of this. Your dice, obviously you have to pick up a polyhedral set of dice, which is going to include your D4. You're going to get your D6, 8, 10, 12, 20, and the D100, which is your 10-sider and your percentile dice.
put together. So, if you can use 2d10s if you would like. I know a lot of people in the old school do that. I think I grew up learning that way actually as well, because it was just a little bit easier to do the math real quick when I was young. Doing it on 2d10s as opposed to a die with, a 70 and a 3. I guess, yeah, you just put them together. But I don't know. It's just the way I learned. The important note here is that if you roll 0-0, that means 100. It does not mean 0. That is pretty consistent through a majority of, RPGs, tabletop RPGs that you play. Majority of all of them do that same exact thing. Now, common terms. Role-playing game is short for RPG. Pretty obvious. The referee is known as the game master, is GM. Player character is PC. This is an old school description. I know in a lot of the new school stuff, you're talked as a creature or as an adventurer or even sometimes as a player. However, in older school game systems and anything that I write as well, I refer to the players as PCs, player characters. Not essential NPCs. Oh wow, the MMO player just came out at me real quick. Non-player characters are NPCs, so this is anyone who the referee is going to be playing. Say they're playing a townsfolk while you are in a village investigating something. That is called an NPC, who the referee plays as well. Experience points are broken down to XP, not EXP. The measure of the character's growing expertise, which, that's what XP measures. So as you level up, that's sort of like a benchmark for, when you're supposed to go to the next level, or sometimes even get leveled down, depending on what's going on, or if your referee is that kind of referee. Hit dice are the number of dice a character or monster rolls to determine hit points, which is HP. So hit dice mean hit points. That's pretty easy. It's HD and HP, so they're pretty synonymous with each other, pretty easy to remember. Next up is the armor class, AC, which is your measure of protection against an attack. So your armor class determines how hard you are to hit. Now, there are many factors that can go into armor class, which I will talk about later on, as we get through this video series. A saving throw represents the attempt to avoid or mitigate some sort of unusual damage attack. So maybe you're like trying to avoid some spell damage, or save against a dragon fire. That's a saving throw as opposed to just rolling against your AC. But like I said, we'll get more into all that later. Gold pieces are often just GP, and so on and so forth, with silver pieces, SP, and all that kind of stuff. Pretty basic stuff here, but we're going to cover it because I'm making this series for anyone who is interested in picking up Swords and Wizardry, and perhaps that this might be your first game system. So it's very ideal to go over all the minute details. Like I said earlier, if you would like me to make longer videos on certain subjects, then please let me know in the comment section down below, and I can go more in depth, of course. All right, so now we are going to create a character. Yay! This is my favorite part about any RPG, is the character creation process. And now, while I am virtually always the referee or game master for my games, whenever I do get to make a character, it's even more special for me. So in Swords and Wizardry, you're going to want to use this character sheet, which can also be found in the back of the book, so you can photocopy them. It says it right there that it's not an illegal thing. You can photocopy them and distribute them to your players, so that way they can have their own character sheet. Now, there are many things that go into the character sheet, as you can see. So you get to name your character, which is always one of the hardest parts of any RPG, as many people know. You fill in your class, your race, the gender, alignment, the deity that you worship in alignment with that alignment. Haha, see what I did there. Your age of your character, your prime attribute. So say you're playing a fighter, that would be strength. We'll get into more of that later. XP bonus, if you have an XP bonus, that'll make more sense when we go over class and race. Your level and your experience points. Of course, those should be next to each other because your level and your experience points are synonymous with each other. Your player name right there, just in case you lose your character sheet, someone can find it for you. Going down the list, we have strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Now, of course, that is going to be detailed as we go down, specifically talking about what means what. So here is your attribute bonuses. So what benefits you get from having higher strength. You get a bonus to hit. Perhaps you can open doors easier, and your damage bonus as well. Just going down the list, we'll talk about this as we move through all of the ability attributes. So there are your hit points, your saving throw, and your armor class. Those will make more sense as we create the character more. Your thieving skills are going to be placed here as well because thieves get special select skills that they can use. And then golden treasure, anything that you find, you can put it right in there. Bleed it into the items and equipment section, of course. When you find, maybe like you find a magical sword, or perhaps you find something even more mundane as rope or torches, you can just throw that right in there. Any abilities you get from the class you want to put in there to remind yourself, because I've made the mistake, personally. I have made a character thinking very well that I know how to play that character and what to do and what abilities I have, and then I end up forgetting, and I don't put them in the class and ability section, and I end up not using a move for maybe an entire session or a couple because I wasn't smart enough to put it in there. So then you have your spells that you have if you are able to cast spells. Rolls needed to hit armor class. Now this will make more sense when I go over combat later, so we're just going to kind of ignore that for now. Okay, moving through to strength. Oh, actually, I should probably talk about rolling them first, of course, right? Get a sip of water. So, dexterity, strength. Is your muscle power, basically how strong you are, your quite literal strength. Dexterity is your quickness and coordination. Constitution is general health and hardiness. This is the big one here, hardiness. The higher constitution you have, you may be in access to, have a hit point bonus, or be able to be risen from the dead. So it's your overall toughness, basically. Intelligence is education and IQ, whereas wisdom is common sense. Now, a lot of people confuse the two often. So intelligence, again, is education and IQ. Just sort of like how I look at it is it's basically like intelligence is book smarts and wisdom is street smarts. A lot of people, have one or the other in real life, but it's very possible that, a person or a character in any world can have both, which is a very, very good combination to have if you can have a good both. So your charisma is your leadership, sort of your suaveness, your ability to sway people to follow you into battle or to listen to your word. Charisma is basically just overall charisma, for lack of a better term. This will make sense when we talk about hirelings and henchmen, all that kind of good stuff. So this is the important part, is when you go to roll for these attributes. Now you get a score per attribute. And to determine that, you're going to roll some dice. You're going to have to find 3d6 to roll that. Now, if you don't have polyhedral dice, you can go, you can just Google it. Amazon, obviously, is the quickest way to get yourself some polyhedral dice. I'm not going to specifically recommend a dice company, but Frog God Games, has some dice available at cons. So if you do want to go check them out there at the booths, you can pick them up with Frog God Games. The next convention, as of recording this video, ReaperCon just happened, so it's going to be Gamehole Con, most likely, will be the next one. So you're going to need 3d6. If you don't have the dice, you can find online simulators that roll dice for you. However, I would recommend finding some actual physical dice because, in my opinion, it is way more fun. So from there, you're going to roll your 3d6. Now, as sort of as written and as practiced in old school gaming, you're going to roll your 3d6 straight down the line. So you roll your 3d6, say you come out with a 12. You're going to put that 12 in your strength category. Then you roll again, say you roll a 15. You're going to roll that 15 in your dexterity category. You roll again, say you only roll like a 6. You have a really bad roll. That's in your constitution. However, if you would not like to do this way, you can roll all of your 3d6, write them down, and then specifically put them in which category you see fit for your character. Now, say specifically you want to make a fighter. We're just going to keep basic with the fighter examples. You want to put your highest category or your highest attribute roll in the strength because, fighters are most based off of strength. So you can do that. You can do it either either way. If you roll straight down, you're going to find out what character you're playing after your dice rolls, which some people really don't like, but I think it can be kind of fun and challenging for you. From there, you learn to love the character. As written, it says, what truly makes heroes of legend in the end is not what they were born with, it is what they achieve in a risky life of adventure, peril, and courage, and sometimes lots of trickery and guile too. So it can be kind of fun to not begin as the most powerful wizard or knight ever, to sort of earn it in your own right. So if you roll straight down, you're going to be able to find out what character you can play with the character classes. Now I'll scroll down and just kind of talk about that real fast. There is the assassin, cleric, druid, fighter, magic user, monk, paladin, ranger, and thief. Now each specific character class is going to have requirements for enable to play that. So for example, the assassin, dexterity, strength, and intelligence all have to be 13 plus. So if you want to play an assassin, you have to roll at least a 13. Now, Ben, you're asking me, Ben, what happens if I roll all sixes? Well, it is possible that you just have terrible rolls back to back to back to back to back, and you just aren't able to make a character. Well, that's okay. Sometimes in my groups, we say they're not fit for adventuring. We straight up say, a character is literally not strong enough, quick enough, doesn't have enough common sense or book smart to get off of where they are. And this life of adventuring just maybe not be fit for them. So in that case, what we do is we retire them immediately and then roll up new characters. It's not the most ideal way to do things, but sometimes it is entirely necessary as to not getting slaughtered right off the rip. So going down the list here, we're going to talk about strength. Now, of course, strength, as we said, is strength is basically your how strong you are. Now, you're going to want this for fighters, paladins, rangers, and it is one of the prime attributes for assassins as well, as I just said. So let's talk about what you get with higher strengths. So it's possible that you get a penalty or a bonus. So depending on your score, you're going to see that straight down the line here, you get certain bonuses. Now, say we roll a 16. We got a pretty good roll. Your to-hit modifier is going to be +1. Your damage modifier is +1, which is pretty simple. So when you roll the d20 to hit, you're going to roll it, and then say you get a 14. You get to add 1 to that, so now you have a 15. Yay. You get +1 because you're super strong. And same with your damage. Say we roll 6 for damage, and then you get the +1, so you get 7 damage. Pretty simple idea. Open doors. Now, this is something that strong characters can do. You can bust a door open if it's, sort of like Jimmy Chut, or, it's sort of like your general dungeon door where, just a little bit of force is necessary. As you get stronger, it's easier to open these doors. So you're going to roll a d6 for this as well. And if you roll a 1, 2, or a 3, you get to open the door. You get to bust it down. And as well as how strong you get or weak you get, you can possibly get a bonus or a penalty to your carrying modifier in pounds. So the stronger you get, the more you can carry. The weaker you are, the less you can carry. Penalties apply to any character, but only fighters get the bonuses. The referee may perhaps choose to allow other classes to have a +1 bonus, but most certainly no more than that. Your referee might also rule that only hand-to-hand weapons gain the strength bonus, but the bare knuckles original game allow fighters to be deadly archers, and so does Swords and Wizardry. So you only get, basically the asterisk there is just talking about how only fighters get the pluses bonuses. But if you are a gracious referee, you may give it to any character as well, but it's recommended to keep it at +1. This basically just keeps fighters a special class, so not everyone can reap the benefits of what their specialization is supposed to be. Now we can go over to Dexterity. So Dexterity is going to be missile weapons and your armor class. So basically, if you have a 3 to 8, you have a -1, and your AC is worse by 1 point. 9 to 12, you're just pretty average dexterous. And you have a +0 and no effect on your armor class. But 13 to 18, you get a +1, and you're better by 1 point. So missile weapons are sort of seen as dexterity because, they're more precise, and dexterity has to do more precision than like strength does. So the effect on the armor class as well is because when you're more dexterous, you're kind of harder to hit. You're dancing around the battlefield a little bit. But when you're less dexterous, you're a lot easier to hit. For fighters, this bonus is in addition to any bonuses for strength, unless the referee tells you otherwise. So pretty cool note there that fighters can benefit from this as well. Dexterity is the prime attribute for thieves and one of the prime attributes for assassin characters. Cool. So thieves and assassins are going to need high dexterity for sure. Moving on to Constitution. Basically, you're going to get more hit points, like we said earlier, and your raised dead survival percentage chance is going to be much better as you get a higher Constitution, which is very important because if you die, you're going to be able to be brought back to life as long as there is a cleric around who can do that for you. Of course, this is testing your hardiness, as we talked about earlier. So again, just sort of as you go up the table, or down the table, I guess, you get certain bonuses. So say you're rolling health and you roll a D8. A D8 is your hit die, or whatever dice you're using. You get to roll. Say you get a 5 for hit points, so when you level up to level 2, you get a 5. You get to add 1 if your Constitution is 13 to 18. Pretty cool. So you get some extra hit points, and you'll be able to be risen from the dead, which is always important. Obviously, in a lot of old school games, death is a prominent and real thing. So we want to make sure that we are able to survive the death. So, intelligence. This is a very important one for magic users and assassins. Only magic users with high intelligence are able to learn the highest level spells. There are also limitations on how many spells a magic user can learn based on the character's intelligence. Cool. So like any other table, as we sort of move down here, you are going to be able to add more languages to your arsenal. You get your maximum spell level, chance to understand the new spell, and min/max number of basic spells understandable per level. So this is going to make much more sense when we go into the magic user section, which I'm going to talk about in next video. So hang tight with intelligence. Magic users and any casters are generally the most, they're kind of the hardest for new players to grasp. So just hang on. I'll talk about this more in depth in next video. So as we move through here, we got wisdom. Yay. So you roll your 3d6 for wisdom. It's the prime attribute for clerics or monks, and one of the 2 prime attributes for the druid character. If a cleric has a wisdom of 15 or greater, the character gains an additional first level spell. Awesome. So the higher you get, the more spells you get. Note the potential for bonus spell is not a feature of the original game, but it is a way to give low level parties a bit more stamina and flexibility during your adventure. Your referee might choose not to grant the bonus spell, but it is strongly suggested. Any character with the wisdom score of 13 or higher gains a plus 5% bonus to all experience point awards. Clerics with high wisdom receive both this bonus and any other wisdom for their prime attributes. Cool. So basically the important notes here are we're going to get another spell for clerics with a wisdom higher than 15. So make sure you put your highest roll in your wisdom if you are a cleric, as well as you get plus 5% XP, which is awesome. You can get through those levels quicker if you have a wisdom of 13 or higher, which is very, very easy roll to get. But you are rolling on 3d6 straight up, so sometimes it might be a little difficult to get up to those higher levels. Now, charisma. Yay. Charisma is an amazing thing in Swords and Wizardry because it is going to it's basically going to be how many special hirelings that your party can have or, attract to yourself. This does not mean normal men-at-arms. It means henchmen who are character types. So we're talking magic users, clerics, and so on and so forth. This is not just, meat shield henchmen that you throw in front of the party just so you don't die. It does not affect the number of regular troops, lantern bearers, and pack carriers you can employ, although it might affect how loyal they are. So, for example, if you have a higher charisma, your henchmen are probably going to be more loyal to you since you have a more kind of ability to sway them to your point of view and see the world as you do. So charisma is one of the 2 prime attributes for the druid character. Any character with a charisma score of 13 or higher receives a plus 5 bonus to all experience awards, which is going to stack on top of your wisdom. So if you have a high wisdom and charisma, you're most likely going to have a pretty darn good XP bonus there. You'll get a 10%, which is awesome. So again, as you move down the table, you get more henchmen into your arsenal. So at level 18, you can have like up to 7 special hirelings, which is awesome. So you can have a couple magic users, clerics, maybe some thieves thrown in there, or assassins, even if you can find them and hire them and keep them loyal to you, which of course is the fun part. So yeah, as you get higher charisma, you get to have those special hirelings. So keep an eye out for them as you're going through town or as you're adventuring the world, because you never know when someone is going to be, one of those NPCs, as we talked about earlier, non-player characters, is going to be looking for a way to make some coin. And with your adventuring budget, hopefully it's high because you're succeeding on your adventures. You'll be able to add more people to your arsenal, maybe send them on some missions, make some gold for you, so on and so forth. Cool. So now that we know a little bit about each ability score, I'm going to move on to choosing your character class. Keep everything we just learned in mind, because we're going to go on to character classes here, which all of this that we just went through is going to impact what character class you can or choose to pick. However, we are going to dive into that in the next video. Thank you everyone so much for watching. This was part 1 of Swords and Wizardry 101. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on this video and comment your opinion down below on the series. This is really my first time doing a specifically instruction or an educational video series, so let me know how I'm doing in the comment section down below, and if you would like me to talk about something in depth as we're going along, please let me know, and I will make a specific video diving deep into it. And I have some connections who are Swords and Wizardry creators, so maybe I might even throw a line out to one of the important people like Matt Finch or Bill Webb, someone like that, who can give some extra insight as well. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you are not subscribed already. We're doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So that's going to be coming up soon as well with the growth of the channel. It's been amazing. Thank you all so much. I will see you all in the next video. Keep those rolls and spirits high, and we will see you next time.